There you go.
The Affordable Housing Subcommittee meeting is now commenced. It's December 3rd at 4 p.m. This meeting is being held virtually. For those who are participating remotely, we've asked to mute yourselves until called upon to speak to avoid background feedback and background noise. For those who have dialed in using the call-in number, to unmute to speak, dial *6 on your phone, and that you may only use a chat function when requested to speak. Also, to comply with state open meeting laws, attendance and votes will be done by way of roll call. So first agenda item is to approve the August meeting minutes. They're pretty slim. Do you guys have a copy of those from the web?
I also sent the
Right.
commissioners
Is
copy.
there any objections to approving the meeting minutes? Or is there any changes?
No.
Okay, then without objection, the minutes are approved. Agenda item 2 is the HCD update, but Sarah is running late, so we're going to jump to agenda item number 3, which is a discussion of the QAP. So,
Marianne, you're on mute.
The QAP and the vouchers tied together for me.
okay,
So the city has no vouchers, and the city also forward committed their vouchers. And that's a big point issue for the tax credit application. So, what do we do about that? And is it something that, we need to talk to the state about? Have, what do we do? I mean, it's I don't know if it was smart or not smart what the city did, but we also know that a lot of people aren't going to be submitting applications as a result, and they forward committed them then into 2026.
I'll give you my 2 cents on this.
David, you're muted.
Oh,
I
you
mean,
want
what's
to talk
there
to
to
Dave
talk to the
first?
state about? The QAP's been adopted. It's final.
Yeah, we can't do anything about it this year for 25.
Right, but we should be talking to them about what's happened here.
Well, I'm not sure how sympathetic they're going to be. I mean, you can still get the points by electing to accept referrals of housing choice vouchers. You get the same number of points. So in terms of scoring, it's not that big a deal. Where it's a big deal is you can't underwrite housing choice vouchers where you can underwrite project-based vouchers, assuming your investor will let you, which they usually will. But as far as scoring is concerned, if you can't get an allocation of PBVs, you'll just check the box for you'll accept housing choice vouchers, and you'll get the same number of points.
But we might not be able to underwrite.
Well, you're not going to underwrite Section 8 rents, that's for sure. So you'll have a bigger gap.
So do you think that that's keeping people from submitting?
I think the thing that's going to be keeping people from...
It has nothing to do with the underwriting. It has to do, the reason I'm not submitting is that I know I'm not going to score, and there's so little credit authority this year that it would be a waste of time and money to put in a 9% application when I know I'm not going to get it. I know that Jason's going to get it. So why should I waste Newport's money and my time?
Yeah, I mean, the problem with the real issue is they're saying that there's only going to be 9 to 10 awards, which means that there's only going to be 2 from the general pool. So you either have to go after a set aside. So if we look at the set asides, There's two tribal set-asides. There's the three rural set-asides. So those are basically off limits.
Up to 2 rehabs.
Then there's, well, last year, I think there's just one, up to two.
It's up to 2.
It's
Last,
up to
to
two,
two.
right?
last year there was just one.
Right, and then there's a state special needs project, and then the choice neighborhoods the choice neighborhoods.
I mean, the
So
state's,
those,
the
yeah,
state is a discretionary, it's not a.
discretionary, yeah. So there's a choice neighborhoods and discretionary. So, you know, if the mayor, could potentially make another phone call. I think that's how, isn't that how Milagro and Oracle got its award?
I don't think she, it was whatever clever consultant wrote the cover letter for the mayor to sign.
Oh, my God.
Kept using unique and opportunity.
Yeah. So, there's that. And then there's probably just going to be two from the general pool, which means Tucson's going to get one and Phoenix is going to get one. And that's it. That's all there's going to be. So, I mean, the problem is that the state has a budget a crisis, so they're cutting their funding sources back. The city has got a $40 million budget gap this year, and so they're going to be stretched. So it's just going to be a rough year, I think.
So really, is the city going to be submitting?
Yeah,
So, of course.
that'll probably be the choice neighborhoods one.
Oh, okay.
The cities will probably be the choice neighborhood set aside. And because I don't know if Phoenix is putting the CNI or not. I don't think they are. So the city will do choice neighborhoods. Jason is going in again with his COPE project. That this year should be able to get a subsequent points. Should be able to get the subsequent phase points it didn't get last year. Which is why I'm not bothering to find anything in Tucson. I just, those 5 points are the difference.
So I think maybe what we should be talking about is not necessarily 25, but 26 in terms of,
Yeah,
what are the changes
yeah,
to the
I think so.
QAP
Mhm.
that we should be requesting looking forward? What would help us get additional projects down here? I think there's that item that you had asked about before, Dave, which was the employment centers, and I think we had written that letter.
And it did zero good.
Yeah, so we can definitely propose that again. We don't know how significant the changes are going to be. We kind of need to wait, I think, for the first draft to come out, or we can just give them our feedback based off of this.
My
Yeah.
guess is they will be sometime this summer asking for input before they do the first draft.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think we're a little bit early.
I think one interesting question is, are they going to reduce the maximum credit award from 2.5 million in order to spread the wealth around a little more? I mean, I can think of arguments both ways.
Well, what that's going to do is that's going to increase the number of projects, but decrease the number of units.
Exactly.
So there'll be fewer overall units built by doing something like that.
Well, if there are more projects, it might keep, number of units might stay the same or more or less the same.
Yeah, you lose economies of scale, so the
there are
costs per
economies
unit
of
go
scale.
up.
There are economies of scale. But I think the people who get credit say, oh, no, don't reduce it. And everybody else says, oh, yeah, increase my odds.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully, I don't know what the appetite's going to be like, with the new administration coming in. But, I think that the Credit Improvement Act it got through the House and it stalled out in the Senate. But it had pretty good bipartisan support.
Yeah, what's gonna happen now, though?
So, I don't know. I mean, hopefully that'll get some legs again and that they can get that going. We don't need to get into a big political discussion, but I don't know. I don't really see a way that this is going to improve without something like that. Or, I read an article this morning, again, talking about the real issue is that there's, the zoning codes and is keeping people from developing housing. And so it's not necessarily quote unquote affordable housing, but it's because it's so difficult to do any housing right now, it's driving up the price for everybody. So I was talking about Arizona specifically.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who has listened to me rant over the past few years know I hate zoning, but it's the issue with, I mean, that's not going to decrease the cost of development all that much. It'll just make it more possible to do development in other places that aren't eligible now. I mean, it's really a money thing. I mean, with the, as you say, the state, I mean, the state budget deficit and the legislature getting more Republican, the chances of a trust fund infusion are, I would say, zero. The city doesn't have money, general fund money, certainly. I mean, thank God for Pima County for putting general fund money in. If with this Congress and this administration, I would say there's a pretty good likelihood home is going to get cut. So that's going to have even less money for the city to put in. So, you can have all the zoned land you want, but if you can't afford to develop, you can't afford to develop.
So Mary Ann and Maggie, one of the things that at the last Pima County, speaking of the Pima County Affordable Housing Committee, is I spoke at the call to the audience, seeing if I could maybe get some sort of traction on the bond initiative, because we're kind of stalling. It feels like we're stalling out on that. David, was there any discussion about it afterwards, or did anything come up regarding that? Or did it just...
You can't, on the rules, you can't really discuss anything from a call to the audience if it's not on the agenda.
Did they talk about adding it to this? Should I speak again? Should I just speak every week or every month until it gets added to the agenda? I mean, I don't mind doing that. It takes me 10 minutes. It feels like there's no appetite right now of the county to push it forward.
Well, the last time the county did a bond issue, it got its head handed to it.
That's why we suggested a regional bond.
Well, it was the county is regional.
Well, it wasn't a partnership with the city of Tucson.
Yeah, but city voters voted on it and it just got trashed. I mean, it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
I think the better, isn't the city, isn't that what the city bond issue that they're talking about doing? Going out?
No, so the city is doing the sales tax.
Sales tax, not bond. Right. Okay. So the city's doing a sales tax, a portion of which is going to get used for housing, correct?
Yeah.
Some of it.
I saw how that thing's being allocated though. And only, I think, $2 million of the, so they're justifying the sales tax initiative with the $40 million cutback from the state. But the sales tax initiative should raise an additional $80 million. Of which I think, I don't remember the exact numbers, and Neto, if you have this information, maybe you can pull it up. But I think like 25% or 28%, I believe, is going to be going towards affordable housing. Neto, do you have that
I
little
don't have
graph
that.
that shows how it's being used?
I don't, but I wanted just to remind you and everyone that at Thursday's commission, Liz Morales is going to make a presentation on the
Yeah.
proposed sales tax.
Right.
Well,
So
25% of $80 million is not chump change.
it's like $20 million or something, but only 2 million of it's going towards the development of new affordable housing. So some of it's going towards the city, some of it's going toward, I mean, there's about 12 different categories that are getting funded. And so I hate to say this, but from what I'm hearing in the business community, there's not a high likelihood that initiative is going to pass. And the reason is there is, I would say, a lot of frustration by the different business community folks about how the bill was brought forth, and the lack of engagement and the lack of oversight. So those are the two big things. Is there's no question that the city needs the money, that the fire department, the police department need additional funding. But the way this is being perceived is there's going to be no oversight on how it's spent. So it's basically a slush fund for mayor and council. That's what I'm hearing. So I would be, frankly, I was speaking in favor of it strictly because of the affordable housing component, and I think police need more funding. But it was a group of about 200 people, 200 business leaders, and the general consensus, I would say, was either neutral or negative. So I was one of the few people that spoke in favor of it, just strictly because of the affordable housing component.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think one of the things that we need to decide is if we need to basically go back to mayor and council and say, do you want to give this another month or two and go back and say, well, the county does not have they don't have the desire to try to push through a bond initiative for affordable housing. So is this something that the city wants to try to do on their own? Or they want to wait until this sales tax thing either passes or fails and then decide? What do you guys think?
I think they're gonna wanna wait to see what the sales tax does, and taking on another initiative that big is probably gonna be hard for them to handle capacity wise, but I do think that, you and I, and Maggie, if she wants, we can split up, going to the county commission and bringing up this topic and getting them interested, because we haven't been doing that at that meeting. So, and since this, generated from us, we should probably be the ones, bringing that to their attention until they deal with it. And I think that, because of some administrative matters, at the county, in that department, and, some other things that were going on that, it wasn't a priority.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we need to make it a priority. So I think we should try that.
It's the third Friday of the
The
month.
Affordable Housing Commission, or going to the Board of Supervisors, because it's the Board of Supes that, I mean, I'm sure the Affordable Housing Commission will be happy to support a bond, but, you know, if you don't get the Board of Soups behind it.
Right. And there were supposed to be meetings that went on with Hines and those guys. Now Hines comes to this meeting, doesn't he?
Very occasionally, David Higuera, his chief of staff.
Is coming. Yeah, that's who I meant.
David Higuera comes to these meetings.
So I think we start there because the both commissions need to be on board with this and then it gets presented to the Board of Supervisors. So I just think we now need to, because it's not getting the push it needs from county staff. We need to be the ones doing it at the commission meeting, and the next commission meeting is when?
It's the third Friday of the month.
Third Friday.
Well, let's talk about this, because I think that Dave's onto something here. I mean, we could try to set up meetings with some of the supervisors. So I know Steve Christie pretty well, and I know Rex Scott pretty well. There's
I know
Matt
Higuera.
Hines, Sylvia Lee, and Adelita.
So David and I know Higuera, but Jim, I think we're a commission. And the Board of Supervisors appoints the county commission.
Yeah,
So
I was appointed by Rex Scott.
So I think it really needs to go through that process first. And then if there's
Okay.
no traction, we come back and talk about this.
Well,
So maybe,
as a member, there is a committee that I'm pretty sure Megan is a member of, and for reasons that I'm not entirely sure of why I am not.
I don't like you.
No, that's a very large club.
I'm just teasing.
That
this is being recorded.
I
apologize, though,
I am
David.
nothing
will-
if not self-aware. Let me talk to Megan.
All right,
There is a committee that is trying to come up with ways of funding affordable housing that go beyond the general fund allocations that happen each year. So let me check with Megan and see what she says they're doing.
could you get back to us fairly soon on that?
Yeah, sure.
Because the next meeting is on the 20th?
Next meeting's on the 20th.
20th, yeah.
Yeah.
So Marianne, if you want to speak at the next meeting, I'd be happy to pass the baton.
Yeah, sure.
All right,
Just for the next one.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
But-
maybe that's the approach you take is we recommend that you guys, meet with your supervisors individually and talk to them about this. If you need help, call us in.
Right.
Maggie, what do you think? You have anything you want to add to this?
Yeah, I think it's important that we all meet with our Board of Supervisors. I know I'm planning on meeting for us, and I can plug in the commission meeting too. The bond issuing a bond.
Who are you meeting with?
I'm going to be scheduling after the first of the year, but what timeline do you guys have for this? If it's to push for 2020, are we talking about pushing for 2026?
At this point, probably.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, we couldn't do anything. Who knows how long it'll take?
Might be 2027 at the rate we're going.
Oh, gosh. But I'm all for, I think it does, we do need to be, and I think there is, something to be said about going as the commission and also going individually representing our respective agencies to talk about funding affordable housing. But I'd like to know what the committee is doing, the commission committee, on how to focus on how to get more money to affordable housing. I think that's important to know too, what their strategy is, what are they thinking of doing?
This was one of the strategies we had. And then if you, yeah, you were probably there, Maggie, if you recall, we discussed it with the mayor in our annual meeting. And
Right.
she was very supportive of it, so, I think we need to, make that clear with the Pima County Housing Commission, and then, just keep going to their meetings and asking them about it. It's really, yeah. I'm not feeling a lot of staff support from the city, and we're not feeling it from the county. Even though both have said that they were gonna talk to each other, and we have not heard a word.
I think they have. I think there's been some discussions that have happened in the background. I just don't think it's gone anywhere.
Okay,
Yeah.
Do you know that Terry Galligan is now with the county?
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't know that until a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really?
I think it
I
was
didn't know that. When did that happen?
he a couple weeks ago.
I wonder why.
One assumes it was a promotion.
So he's working with Dan Sullivan? Is that the department he's in?
yep,
It's community and workforce development. I think he's just running housing there.
I think that's a really good thing, because I feel like, especially that department does not have a lot of housing expertise. Marcos Ismael is kind of being pushed to the side, it seems like, and I know he's on, he's our ad hoc member, but he has huge expertise, but I just don't know what's going on there. And they don't, I know that we've dealt with a lot of stuff when we've asked for funds, I forget what the funding source is, the gap funding, that I'm always surprised. I support affordable home ownership. That's what we do. And that's a couple of times it's really crazy. We don't get recommended, and all of a sudden we get an email that says we were recommended. And I'm not sure how that works with the Pima County housing. I don't know what's going on. Maybe David, you can tell us what's going on, but all of a sudden it just.
I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you.
yeah, I don't think we need to talk about what's happening at the county, in that department.
Well, but it's just kind of, it's the department, but it's, I don't know how that works. So, all right, I'll shut up.
All right. So action items here, Mary Ann, you're gonna speak at the next housing commission meeting for the county.
Yeah, I just need to know the time and where it's at again.
If you do a search, a Google search, you can, it's easy to
8:30,
find.
David?
They're at 8:30. It's on the 20th. Meetings are typically way out in the boonies down by Keno Stadium. So I always, they're on Teams or Zoom or one of these things.
You can send me that info.
When they announce, when they send out the agenda for the next meeting,
Okay,
I'll forward it to you.
thank
I
you.
just did a Google search that morning and found it. It took me like 2 seconds. It's pretty easy. Pima County Affordable Housing Commission. All right. Are you guys good moving on? I'm actually not feeling super good here. So,
Well, Sarah's joined us.
yeah, if we can, I'd like to move back to agenda item 2, the HCD update.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get probably a more thorough update at the full commission meeting day after tomorrow. So I'm sort of, I just got out of a 4-hour long section 106 historic review training, so my brain's a little fried, but yeah, we are moving forward on our development projects. Happy to answer any specific questions if there's any specific updates you guys have related to kind of affordable housing subcommittee stuff, but I didn't have anything perfectly planned. And since the full commission meeting, you'll get the full update from HCD Thursday.
The only question, Sarah, is, do you know how, far out the city has, forward committed its vouchers? We would like to know that.
I don't know, but we can ask that question.
Okay, thank you.
So wait, let me just. You want to know how far out the city has committed?
Forward committed its housing vouchers.
We're project-based.
Project-based, not just
Yeah.
housing vouchers.
Yeah, project-based.
Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
I try to make it so that a few people like me,
just a few.
just a few.
I will send that to those that know the answer to that.
All right, so nothing else from you, Sarah, today?
No.
All right, so, call the audience. We don't have any audience members watching, thank God. Does anybody want to say anything? Anybody want to say anything else?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
David, I like you.
Oh,
Especially
thank you.
since I
Thank
saw you, you
Thank
and your wife at Gray's Burgers.
That's right. That's right.
So,
Okay.
you're good in my book.
Okay. Thank you.
He's
Thanks.
good in everybody's books, even when he's not.
Even when I'm not.
Is that it?
Oh,
right.
that was so sweet.
All right, thank you for those positive words of
One more,
reaffirmation for David Wall.
one more reminder, Mary Ann's throwing a party tomorrow night
Mhm.
at the downtown Clifton on Stone.
Yep,
That's
at
right.
4 o'clock, 4:30, be there, be square.
Yeah, and I've got my Christmas holiday party at my house in Winter Haven on the 20th. If any of you guys are interested in coming,
Got
pretty
the
fun party.
invitation this morning. We're trying to figure out if we can make it.
Yep, I got mine too.
Okay, so next steps, next meeting, I think we need to keep the bond initiative on the agenda. I guess I'm gonna, one of the things I'd like to do, Neto,
Mhm.
maybe going forward is just maybe start by kind of reviewing our goals and objectives of the subcommittee each meeting.
Okay.
So we can stay focused on that. And I think, I guess the other take home action item I'd like for everybody is to, think about kind of how we need to focus going forward. If this bond initiative is not going to gain traction, what can we do looking forward, given all the constraints and all the challenges that we've talked about today, to, first of all, I guess, make City of Tucson compete better for the money that is out there, and two, try to figure out how we get more projects in Tucson. So, and that might be, kind of refocusing our efforts to bond deals or other sources of funding.
And I think other types of housing and perhaps smaller projects.
Yeah.
And the other thing I think, Jim, is that we should also include in that conversation is that this committee meeting with the committee that David was just talking about, that Megan is on.
Mm-hmm.
And, putting our heads together.
Right. Okay. All right. Any other action items before we adjourn?
Jim, it's not an action item, but a couple of questions. One, entering the new year, does the committee want to continue meeting at this time and this date, or this week, on
Yeah.
the same schedule? And second, there is a scheduled Affordable Housing Committee meeting on December 18th. Does the committee want to meet in 2 weeks?
So I do
Oh.
have a a conflict with the third Wednesday of the month now with another board.
Okay,
So I've been having to try to juggle that the last 3 or 4 months. Does this time work for everybody? Is this the first Tuesday of the month? Is this good for the other commissioners? Can we maybe just keep this time going forward?
I'm okay with it right
Yeah,
now.
it works for me.
Dave?
I'm just an interloper, so it doesn't matter, but yeah, it's fine.
All right.
I have a conflict. I teach at the university on Tuesday evenings, so I don't know. I could probably have Everin fill in for me during those meetings. We might get Everin, who's one of our new staff. To
Is
fill
that
in.
every Tuesday?
Yeah,
That's starting next semester?
yeah.
So do you want to change it to a different
that's just-
Wednesday of the month?
That's only gonna be 3 meetings though, right? Or 4 meetings for next year, and then the schedule will free up, because you don't teach over the summer,
Right.
and it could change
So-
in the spring,
So January,
February, March. Maybe
well, I
April.
think it would just be February, March, and April, and maybe May,
So
3 or
what
4.
about the first Wednesday of the month?
There's another commission meeting that day.
Mhm.
No, and then
The
the full
subcommittee.
commission meeting is on the Thursday, so it's sort of 2
Yeah.
things in a row. My only other thought is mayor and council sometimes, do they meet, and would that be an issue if mayor and council? is
Oh, yeah, shit. What about the second Wednesday of the month?
I can't. Our board meeting is on it.
What about the second Thursday of the month?
The second Thursday, that works for me.
That works.
Yeah, works for me.
Yeah, it works for me.
Cool.
All right. So that means it's gonna be January
9th,
9th, which is in
which
12 days.
that's
is
not,
the Milagro on Oracle ribbon cutting.
right.
So we
Right.
can't do it that day.
Let's do it
Could we do it? We could do it the 7th that week, because class doesn't start, I don't believe, on the 7th. So we could do January on the 7th, and then in
Okay.
February start the
oh, I can't
second.
do the 7th, actually. I've got
Okay.
another board. I've got dang it.
We're all just too dang busy.
Hard.
Red
I know.
Tuesday.
Keep it on the,
Yeah, actually, now that I'm looking at it, well, it's either the first or second Tuesday of the month is a SALC board. All right, let's do the other potential problem with Thursdays. Well, is U of A basketball games.
Oh, my God.
Wait a minute, we're not in the Pac-12 anymore. Remember?
Yeah,
All right, so
Wait a minute. I
what
don't think,
about the third Thursday of the month?
that I definitely have a conflict with.
All right,
Yeah,
so
so
then,
just keep it as is and everyone can sit in for Sarah,
yeah. Let's keep it.
right?
Well, I can't do the first Tuesday. I just realized that's a problem for me. But the the second Thursday works. Does the second Thursday work for everybody?
yes,
Yeah,
Let's do that.
there are no basketball games on Thursdays this season.
There's
okay.
not? Okay.
Maggie, does it work for you?
Yeah.
All right,
Second
second Thursday of the month it is.
All right, so that's gonna be the 9th.
No, wait a minute. Again, January 9th is the Milagro.
That's
ribbon cutting.
okay.
Yeah, but that's at 2 o'clock. We'll be done. Well, let's do it at 5 o'clock on this next one. And we'll try to keep it to an hour.
Okay, 5 o'clock on Thursday,
Yeah,
second, the 9th, you're saying?
just the 9th, and then we'll go back to 4 o'clock every week
At
after
5
that.
o'clock, okay.
But Jim, are you gonna go back to Tuesdays?
No, let's
Thursday.
stick with this.
I
This will work.
I just want to say staff, I don't think Neto and I will be able to support you all because all of HCD staff is going to be tearing down and working on the ribbon cutting for Milagro and Oracle. So even if the event goes from 2 to 4, but staff is going to be busy the whole entire time. And I don't think we're going to
Okay.
be able to make a Zoom meeting at 5.
So can we make a Zoom meeting without staff?
No,
Oh, because it's a city thing, isn't it?
Mhm.
yeah. All right.
Can you guys do the 16th or you can't do the 16th?
16th is good for me.
It works for me.
I'm good.
Okay, let's make it January 16th.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. That's the third. I was looking at December 16th. No, that's bad for me. Sorry.
Can you do the 15th?
Yes. Well, that's what the day it's scheduled right now.
Right.
So let's just leave it for January 15th.
Yeah.
We
And then
won't
they'll revisit this on the 15th.
Yeah. Okay. So I agree with that. Let's just keep it the 15th and then going forward, we'll look at rescheduling it.
Okay.
That works.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That was easy.
No wonder there's nothing going forward with that damn bond deal.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, guys. I'm going to adjourn. I got to go lay
Okay.
down. Okay.
Feel
Bye.
better. Thank you.
Bye.
Feel better,
Okay.
Jim.
Hopefully we'll see
holiday.
some of you tomorrow.
All right.